Story 1. Breakfast of the Gods is a webcomic based on this premise. It is more like a dark fantasy that features cereal mascots as the cast of characters. Tony the Tiger and Count Chocula are not to be messed with, among others. Edit. It seems that some people are having issues with the website. It still works for me, so I uploaded the images to Imager. Please try to support the artist's site if possible. But if it does not work, here are some alternatives. Book 1 on Imager. Book 2 on Imager. Book 3 on Imager. Story 2. Is not the Raisin Bran mascot an actual son? I am pretty sure he would burn them all and finish with 2 scoops of ashes. Story 3. Captain Crunch has naval warfare at his disposal. I do not know how that would be used in an arena, though. Story 4. I am going with Captain Crunch. He could just crunchitize all of the other mascots and leave them in that alternate dimension for all eternity. Story 5. No contest, Lucky Charms. It is established canon in the General Mills serial universe that Lucky the Leprechaun, yes, that is his real name, gains extremely powerful abilities from the marshmallows in his cereal. The full list of powers was published by General Mills, but some highlights include the ability to bring things to life from the hearts, invisibility from the moons, and the ability to control time from the hourglass introduced in 2008. Up against essentially a god, I do not think the others stand a chance. In short, Lucky the Leprechaun is an Irish Thanos. Story 6. This is tough. Could legitimately be a slaughter. Given the Leprechaun movie series, Lucky Charms could do serious damage with leprechaun magic. Count Chocula, Boo Berry, Frankenberry, and Fruit Brute are all literal monsters. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch pieces bite each other, so they clearly do not hold back. Tony the Tiger is a literal sentient tiger and a very strong one. Cookie Crisp is some kind of wild canine, coyote, or wolf. Either way, see Tony the Tiger. I would not want to go face to face with someone who is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. If someone gets that obsessed over cereal, they would be an unpredictable threat in combat. Same goes for Honeycomb. Snap, Crackle, and Pop have the numbers advantage, and with names like that I do not want them near my bones and spine. My pick would be Captain Crunch, purely for the military arsenal he has access to. Story 7. The Applejacks brothers can work together and give their enemies a stare of psychological erosion, as in my childhood. Apple says, "You are lucky there is only one of me." Those eyes were memorable. I did not expect to be featured on YouTube. Story 8. The Cocoa Puffs bird is legitimately crazy. It is his whole thing. Story 9. Mr. T used to have a cereal. If he came out of retirement and brought the entire team with him, it would be a bloodbath. Story 10. The kid from the Life cereal boxes is going to have a tough day. Story 11. That wolf from Cookie Crisp looks crazy and wears jeans. Story 12. Right out of the gate, Captain Crunch stabs Snap, Crackle, and Pop with his sword. Toucan Sam holds a grudge against Captain Crunch. The pirates enslaving parrots thing does not sit well with him, so he crushes Captain Crunch's head with his beak while the captain is digging through Crackle's pockets for his wallet. On the other side of the arena, Tony the Tiger is wreaking havoc. He has already eaten Trix, snapped Sugar Bear's neck, and shoved an M80 explosive up Dig M Frog's backside. Count Chocula commits suicide because he had issues to begin with. Nobody can catch Lucky because he has been practicing escape maneuvers for years. However, a quick sting from Buzz the Bee triggers his anaphylaxis and he suffocates. The Flintstones crew arrive, swat Buzz, and club Tony the Tiger to death. This leaves only Toucan Sam and the Flintstones, or so they think. Even though Sugar Bear is dead, Sonny the Cuckoo Bird was hiding in his backpack Banjo-Kazooie style. He crushes and snorts a line of Cocoa Puffs, rips out Toucan Sam's trachea, and severs the Flintstones' jugular veins. Sonny the Cuckoo Bird not only wins but also incites a military coup to overthrow the government and becomes a harsh yet benevolent ruler of his people, as long as the weekly Cocoa Puffs quota is met. Pinhead Larry posted this response over a year ago, and it has been my favorite AskReddit answer ever. Story 13. The Flintstones, also known as Fruity Pebbles, would win, especially if they can tag in Bam Bam. Story 14. Fred Flintstone has lived all this time smoking Winstons and downing vitamins. He is immortal and very strong. Story 15. I'm telling you now, Captain Crunch has likely seen a lot of combat. If you trigger his post-traumatic stress disorder, he might react like Rambo and attack all of you. Story 16. I've got to say, this is the most insightful and interesting Ask Reddit question I've ever heard. Story 17. There is no choice but Sugar Bear. He is a 9-foot-tall bear. Snap, crackle, and pop. That is what their bones will sound like between his jaws. Dig him? More like dug him, because he will be enjoying his food through a straw for the rest of his days. Count. Chocula can only count on having his face removed. The only fair argument is Tony the tiger, but even he wears a kerchief of some kind, meaning he is domesticated. Sugar Bear is a wild animal with a taste for 3 things: blood, tears, and the taste of golden crisp. Story 18. This is how things played out in my wife's head. All the cereal mascots are captured and taken to a closed-roof colosseum. They are told they must fight to the death and only the last mascot may leave. The mascots, being cutesy characters, are in disbelief and do not know what to do. The first to act is Captain Crunch, a white sailor man. He immediately smashes the Honey Nut Cheerios mascot, Buzz, between his hands. Buzz dies instantly. Buzz's pheromones attract bees in a 5-mile radius, which swarm the stadium and attack Captain Crunch. He cannot escape and perishes. Chaos erupts and the mascots turn on each other. Toucan Sam flies away to gain distance, but Count Chocula turns into a bat and pursues him. They have a prolonged aerial battle, and Count Chocula wins. His fangs do more damage than Toucan Sam's beak. Tony the tiger, the fittest mascot, breaks for the weapons rack and chooses a large mace. Frankenberry tries to reach the rack as well, but Tony strikes him down with a single blow. Lucky the leprechaun, at a strength disadvantage, uses his magic charms to create smokescreens and diversions, allowing him to evade attackers and hide in the rainbows his charms generate. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch pieces cannibalize one another until a single piece remains, which is crushed in the chaos. Snap, Crackle, and Pop try to gang up on Tony the tiger, but his raw strength is too much for them. Count Chocula, having won his air battle with Toucan Sam, is returning to the ground when Sunny, the Cocoa Puffs mascot, surprises and eats him. Sunny uses his chocolate body as a source of strength to enter his cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs state of mania. He attacks Tony in a frenzy, knocks the mace from Tony's hands, and they brawl for what seems like an eternity. When the smoke clears, both are found dead. Lucky the leprechaun survives by ingenuity, magic, and a little luck. Booberry elects not to participate on the grounds that he is already dead and is excused from the brawl. Story 19. I think a bracket should be created for this and Reddit users should vote on it. Story 20. Wheaties. Every person to appear on the box represents the physical and competitive peak of humanity. The fastest, strongest, and finest competitors the world has ever known. Together they form a literal superhuman who has competed before crowds of thousands for their entire life in nearly every form of competition across the globe. They walk in carrying a baseball bat and wearing marathon gear. Story 21. I haven't seen Sugar Bear yet. He is a bear, so he would put up a good fight. Story 22. Plot twist. Chester the cheetah appears and kills everybody. Story 23. My husband and I have been discussing this over dinner. My husband really wants the bee from Honey Nut Cheerios to win but thinks he will lose. So his pick is Count Chocula. I picked the rooster on Kellogg's Corn Flakes. He is hands down the winner. Roosters are pure evil and he would be no different. He would take everyone down without a thought. If you were talking pure wiles, Lucky would win. He always manages to slip away. One might say he is charmed. Story 24. Am I one of the few who remembers the 3 bakers of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and how Wendell just made the other 2 disappear? Story 25. Cinnamon from Apple Jacks is going to pass the joint, and everyone will forget they were fighting. Story 26. I feel like Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs is going to be out of the fight. He will go all out within seconds. The Trix Rabbit will be too preoccupied with eating his own cereal and will get duped. Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and the other monster cereals have some advantages, but they can also be defeated by various things. Count Chocula can be defeated if it is daytime, Frankenberry can be torn easily, and Boo Berry will be down if the Ghostbusters cereal is allowed in. The carnivorous animals have a chance. Tony the tiger, the Cookie Crisp wolf, and the Kick shark. All of them would attack each other. Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Crave would just eat each other. Wheaties might be able to get its famous athletes to fight, although I am not sure how many of them could pick a fight. I would say Captain Crunch would win because of his military power and his alliance with Mr. T. He is a commander but could still have substantial manpower. Also, would this fight be called the Cereal Bowl? Story 27. This anecdote is only tangentially related. A few nights ago I came home and my wife was sitting at our full-sized upright piano and told me to listen. As she hit a few specific keys, there was a buzzing, vibrating sound. Something had those notes as resonant frequencies and was in contact with the piano. I took some panels off and had her keep hitting the notes while I tracked down the issue. I pulled the piano away from the wall and traced the noise to its back. After about 10 minutes, I found an offset between the back braces and the back panel, creating a cavity at the very bottom. I turned on my phone camera light and used it to look inside. I saw something blue. I reached in and pulled out a 3x3 sliding puzzle with one empty space. It featured the Sugar Crisp bear and the caption, "Can't get enough of that Sugar Crisp." When was the last time you found a plastic toy in a cereal box? I figure this must be 25 to 30 years old. Story 28. The Raisin Bran son is a star. He would burn everyone up. Story 29. It's upsetting that no one is talking about Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, and Trix. Story 30. I am caught between Tony the Tiger, Lucky, and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch pieces. Tony the Tiger is a literal tiger who walks on two legs and works out every day so he could defeat everyone. Lucky has actual magic and can cast spells, but he often needs a bowl of cereal to do so. In one commercial he summoned unicorns, which would be an advantage. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch pieces are literal cannibals, so they would not hold back in a fight. Their abilities include unhinging their jaws to eat anything and apparent super speed. Story 31. Captain Crunch, Tony the Tiger, and cannibalistic Cinnamon Toast Crunch pieces in that order. Captain Crunch is the winner. Story 32. Lucky. I swear to God that the leprechaun has to be up to something. Story 33. The Spitballers beat you to it a few months ago. Story 34. Is this a joke? Am I being punked? How is nobody including Lucky Charms? Think about how overpowered he is. I will start with his physical stats and then show what you are dealing with when he has the charms. His normal powers without the charms. Flight. He was able to get away from kids and rise about 20 feet into the air for roughly 2 to 3 seconds. Using 3 seconds as an estimate, he can roughly reach 4.5 miles per hour in that burst, as shown in video footage. Duplication. If he flies through a rainbow, he can create roughly 5 copies of himself. Instant pathways. He can open instant pathways to large rooms and control who is allowed entry. Summoning of the charms. He can summon the charms in about 10 seconds. Gravity control. Even without any charms, he can manipulate gravity. Without touching people, he lifted them and had to set them down at their request. Durability. A Tyrannosaurus Rex is about 12 to 20 feet tall. After a fall from a similar height, he ran off as if nothing happened. The charms. Heart. Gives life and allows him to animate or control living things. He brought 7 trees under his control to assist him in battle. Time hourglass. Sent him back to prehistoric times. He appears to have some control over time, including the potential to stop or slow it. Blue moon. Grants near complete invisibility, except for visible traces like footprints in mud. Shooting stars. Grants flight at roughly the same speed as his normal flight. Horseshoe. Greatly enhances foot speed. I estimate he could reach around 25 miles per hour with this ability. Clover of Charm. Enables duplication and provides cushioning for falls. Red Balloon Charm. Makes himself and other objects extremely light, reducing their weight. Finally, he goes all out and retaliates against the kids, demonstrating just how powerful he is. Edit. Thanks for the silver. That was really cool of you. Edit 2. Sorry if this was bothering anyone. I just wanted to say thank you again. Story 35. Obviously, it would be Boo Berry. He is literally a ghost. He cannot be killed if he is already dead. Story 36. The great yellow oblivion of the no-name brand will swallow all mascots. There is no escape from being generically defined by Black Helvetica. Story 37. My husband chimed in with the Quaker Oats man. You never suspect the quiet ones. Story 38. You pitiful fools. None would even dare say his name because you fear his power. Smackums the frog is too subtle to be guessed. His machinations go unnoticed. The true villain walks among you, undetected and unchallenged. He lures you with promises of a delicious, nutritious breakfast. Lies, it is puffed rice coated with cinnamon. There is no value, no redemption. You and your parents bought it. They paid hard-earned money for falsehood and despair. Death by 1,000 deceptions, and you never realized. Woe to you mortals. Story 39. If Brennan Lee Mulligan taught me anything, Tony the Tiger will come out on top. Story 40. It depends on whether Count Chocula is a higher vampire. If so, he would likely prevail because only another higher vampire can kill him. Story 41. Okay, so here is the story. Kellogg's Cornflakes rooster, Cornelius, also known as Corny on the Street, had a long history of violent fights and remained undefeated in underground chicken battles to the death. After one particularly brutal fight that left many dead, he was captured. The judge gave him the choice of jail or service in Vietnam, and he chose Vietnam. While he was there, he remained a one-rooster killing force. Some say a song is about him. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.